and I'm a freshman for Irvington High School, California. This is my invention, the filament coffin. Filament is the primary tool used for 3D printing. Here we have a roll of PLA, the most common and cheapest material filament out there. The proper way to store this is to put it in a sealed plastic bag with a dry packet in it. This way it ensures it's kept, 1, dry, and 2, clean. The issue is that a lot of 3D print hobbyists tend to like to use one roll of filament for consecutive prints. And as the time between these prints is largely unknown, you will have to unload your filament every single time after every single print to put it in a bag and use the proper storage method of putting it in a cabinet. This gets annoying and repetitive to do, and it is surprisingly easy to forget as well. I asked 2 people well acquainted with 3D printing around my makerspace, and they all admitted to having this problem. I myself have ruined, say, 3 rolls of filament just because I just left it out and loaded in the printer and forgot to put a bag over it. At first, the consequences don't seem that bad. It's just a little warped final layer and then some strings on the side. But the issue is that these strings and this warped layer cause inaccuracy, and that inaccuracy can range from little to a lot depending on how skewed your filament is. That little inaccuracy, for prototypes that have really tight tolerances, that little inaccuracy right there can completely destroy the function of the prototype. Then you have to reprint it, which wastes material, and also you might not have a separate good quality filament to use. So I decided to come up with a solution for that. My idea was akin to creating a glove for the filament, something that protects it and allows it to still function. Over here you can see my first 2 iterations. Number 1, which the issue was improper dimensioning. Number 2 is these magnets weren't strong enough, and both of these were a bit too chunky for the spool holder. So finally we have my final version, this right here. So a cross section of how this is going to work is, allow me to flip this over, sorry. Here we have the opening for the filament, and you can see the magnets on the side, that's what keeps it closed. Imagine the other half over it, and here it sits in the spool holder. And over here it goes to the opening, and the printer will be able to pull it down and use it to print. The reason why I chose to have it able to function well in the cover is because this way forgetting it won't be an issue, because the cover can always be on. So it's not possible for you to forget it if it's always on. Over here you have a video of my printer actually using the cover to print. As you can see, the material is indeed coming out. Printer's not giving me an issue saying that there's something wrong with the filament, and overall that just demonstrates that my function of having it able to be used while on the cover works. Yay! So 3D printing is indeed a massive and growing field. Therefore, I wondered if anybody else had a similar idea. So first I went on Thingiverse and MakerWorld. Both of these are gathering spots for creative makers and 3D print enthusiasts. So both these yielded a design that has a similar concept to mine, except the issue is they have a whole face missing off one half of their cover. This makes sense for the printers they're designed for, which is the FlashForge Overture 3 and the Bamboo P1S, because these printers are basically a box. It's a closed printer design. So this missing face the cover has is filled in by the side of the printer itself. Now, for printers that use an open printer design like the Prusa, you can see that if we have the design on here, it's going to leave the entire half of the filament open, and that's as good as leaving it out in the open. As you can see, mine is closed, it's 2 halves. That means that solves that issue. And also it's designed to be compatible with any printers, because most printers, their spool holder is just a peg outside. So, just like the filament, the cover is able to sit on the peg and need nothing else to function. For more curious spool holder designs, like the Prusa Mini, which is 2 parallel rollers down here, and it allows the filament to work like hamster wheel. All you need to do for this is to have like 3, maybe 4 little feet on the bottom of the spool holder. And then this will be the new hamster wheel. The filament will be able to rotate in here. So that solves the issue for most, if not all, printers out there. Furthermore, I found another design in the Thingiverse, and it was like an umbrella over the filament. It's like a cover over the top. It's designed to prevent dust, and that certainly works, but the other important factor is moisture. That is equally as important as dust. Therefore, as you can see, I have a closed design that prevents as much dust and moisture, keeping it from both these factors that affects quality. Lastly, most other searches I came across was just vacuum sealed bags or like weird donut bags meant for only storage. That again leads us to the problem of forgetting to use the cover in the first place, because you have to unload it and it's just extra steps. Therefore, mine being able to keep the filament loaded and be used that, foolproofs the idea of forgetting to use a cover at all. Now, this issue might not seem to be a very big one, especially in big industrial workspaces, but for makers who prefer the private materials of their own home, this can allow them to enjoy the success of a print without having to keep a space in the back of their mind to remember proper storage methods, or prevents them from having to regret not using the proper storage methods in the first place. Thank you for listening, and thank you for considering my invention.